So our next presentation is going to be a very interesting one. We have a top producer recognized by multiple top carriers around the nation. Our next speaker hails from Middletown, Connecticut, boasting a rich career journey marked by versatility and achievement, with a background initially rooted in healthcare in 16 years as an x-ray tech, and then moving into the world of network marketing, where she was extremely successful, going as far as being a guest on the Dr. Oz show for how organized she is. I've got like pages of bio here that is absolutely incredible. I'm gonna let her tell you about herself overall, but what she's gonna talk with us today about, I'm gonna switch over screens here, is how to find a way or find an excuse, her story and what she did to go from 300 to 1,100 clients in 2 years. So put your hands together and please join me in welcoming Jessalyn Pito to the stage.
I don't know what I did. Well, I am very blessed because you are my chosen family. I look forward to this event every year. It was the event that I attended 4 years ago and every year after, and I met the famous Jerry Taylor. There she is, love you. So first of all, good morning to all of you, and thank you, Amanda, for giving me the opportunity to share my story with all of you and how I went from 300 clients to 1,100 clients in a matter of 2 years. So I have to take this story back, thank you. So let's go back. My love for the senior community started when I graduated from college and went to school to be an x-ray tech. Along with being an x-ray tech, I was the office receptionist, and I was the first point of contact when the senior community would come in and I had to ask them for their insurance cards. This is where all of a sudden this glazed look came over their face, and they would often confide to me that they had no one in their life to help them navigate the journey, spouses passed away, children moved away, and they were left to figure it all out by themselves. And then I was also the phlebotomist in addition to being the x-ray tech, so when I had that one-on-one moment with a needle in their arm, they would say, "Sweetie, the only thing golden about the golden years is the color of your urine." And I'm like, okay, yeah. So I was an x-ray tech for over 16 years, and who would have thunk it that, I didn't know at the time, that one of my coworkers would end up being my future husband. Had no idea, because I made a rule that I would never date anyone that I worked with. And my coworkers used to say to me all the time, "Oh, he really likes you, you need to go out with him." I'm like, not crossing that path. But anyway, during these years, I was becoming inspirationally dissatisfied because the harder I worked, my boss seemed to get my raise. And year after year after year, I was always told there's never enough money in the budget for us to give you a raise. So while I was an x-ray tech at the age of 23, inspired by my mother's entrepreneurial spirit, I decided to get into the network marketing industry. I was dabbling in home parties as a side hustle because I was a single mom with no child support. So I decided, I saw the opportunity, and I moved on and walked away from my x-ray career to move into the network marketing industry. But I had to go in and tell my supervisor that I was leaving. So I walked into the office, eyes closed, gave my notice and said, "Well, now that we're not coworkers anymore, are you going to ask me out?" So, bottom line to that, we've been married. We were married in October of 1998. So that's my love story with that. But anyway, and I do have notes here just because I can be very squirrely and I don't want to get off track because I only have 45 minutes with all of you here today, so just bear with me when it comes to that. So there's me. Yep, I still look like the top photo. I was an x-ray tech at the age of 19. You can flatter me and say, yes, I still look like that. But anyway, during my direct sales days, I earned top award after award after award, year after year. I was a top sales achiever for more than 10 years in a row, top recruiter, top leader developer, and I was the first one in my company to reach $1 million in sales of a product that was on average $7.99. Earned lots of trips. And all I ever heard was, oh, she's lucky. She has the Midas touch. No, here's the deal, okay? The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary. I was just willing to do what most people were not willing to do. I've always gone the extra mile, and no matter what it is that I do, because when you go the extra mile, it's never crowded there. And so I just wanted to preface that, because what is the word luck? It's when preparation meets opportunity. And so every aspect of my life, yeah, I guess I've been lucky, if that's the case. So with that being said, I truly believe in my heart, I hate the word sales. We do not sell anything, my friends. We offer a service and an opportunity that people need. And when you come from a place of service, you are living life from a servant's heart. And that is not sales. So please get past that. And ladies, all through high school, you cannot tell me you did not talk on the phone for hours with your friends. You were on the phone for hours. So why is it just because you have something to offer, all of a sudden you're afraid to pick up the phone? Your phone is your ATM machine. When you dial numbers, money comes back this way. We don't have to worry about a skimmer on our ATM machine, just saying. All right, so let's talk about this. One of my favorite things in the world to do is go to New York City and go to the live studio audiences of talk shows. It's really all about the free tchotchkes that they give away. And so it's my favorite thing to do. And so one day I was scheduled to go with my friends. They had tickets for the Dr. Oz show. And the segment was, are you super organized or are you OCD? So my friends nominated me without me knowing about it, and the show called me and wanted to interview me, and I had to share with them all the ways that I'm super organized. So they said, we want you on the show. Just for the record, I am not OCD. However, I do have a system for every aspect of my life. To me, the word system stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. I truly believe in the 3 Ds. You're either going to do it, you're going to dump it, or you're going to delegate it. Because if you have to touch something more than once, you are wasting time and wasting money.
Can you say that again so that they can write it all down?
Save yourself time, energy, and money. And the 3 Ds are you're going to do it, dump it, or delegate it. During my X-ray career, or my direct sales career, I will always be thankful for the opportunity. It was towards the latter half of that career where my mother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. Being your own boss allows you the flexibility of your time. I knew what that diagnosis meant, and I promised my mother the rest of her life would be the best of her life. We made a bucket list. I helped her plan her funeral, everything she wanted to have happen, from flowers to food to songs, who's carrying her, where she's being buried. We handled it all. Like, even the funeral director was impressed because I had a system for that. Go figure. So anyway, when my mother passed, I felt I needed to live life with a higher purpose. And my direct sales company had changed their compensation plan during that time. And when I received my paycheck for being a leader after my mother passed, I looked at it and I'm like, all right, my 6-figure income just went from barely being a car payment. Whatever this is, I'm not doing it anymore. So I completely walked away with no plan in place. My son is the one who encouraged me to go get my life and health insurance license. He has a P&C license and life and health, and he practices mostly in the P&C side. So I took a job at a call center. Worst experience of my life. I was selling life insurance to credit union members across the country. I do not make a very good employee. The micromanaging was suffocating. I needed to find an exit strategy and fast. I literally lasted, I think, 3 months. And that is when my friend Deirdre Vergala, where are you? There she is. She reached out to me and she's like, hey, you need to talk to Tracy O'Brien, my upline, and explore getting into Medicare. And I felt like I was being pulled in that direction anyway because I heard about it and I was just intrigued about it. And so I had this conversation with Tracy and I decided to hop on the Medicare train. But it was a ride home from that call center one day where a friend of mine, I say that loosely, who owned a financial firm, called me and said, what are you doing with this life and health insurance license I saw you post on Facebook? And I said, well, funny you should ask. I want to get into the Medicare space. I'm looking to bring that into the office. When can you start? I said, I don't really like my job, but I do have to give 2 weeks notice. So can I meet you on Sunday to talk about it? So we talked, and I started 2 weeks later to a paycheck of $40,000. We made an agreement, and you can all laugh at me later. We made an agreement, don't laugh, Jerry, because she knows what I'll say. The agreement was he would pay me a salary, and he would get all of my commission. I don't know any better. And he wanted nothing, listen, he wanted nothing to do with Medicare. He's like, go out and do what you gotta do, bring it into the office, and offer it to our clients. I can do that. But he didn't look at Medicare as a viable source of income because he also gave me his IULs to write, his life insurance to write. I was the administrative assistant, I was the marketer. I was doing everything for that office and essentially building Medicare on the side because he wanted nothing to do with it and the internal referrals were few and far between. It was my grassroots marketing that built the book that I had with them for a very short period of time. So now what happens is, on October 24th of 2021, I was getting ready to do a CVS event. I had packed up, my tote was packed, I was getting ready, I go upstairs, my husband and my dog, for those of you Facebook friends with me, Chance is the love of my life and my husband. But anyway, so I was packing up for CVS, I go upstairs, they're in bed, I'm like, are you two getting up anytime soon? And my husband's like, come on, Chance, we better get up and go make mommy some breakfast. So I go back downstairs, I'm in the kitchen getting ready, and all of a sudden I hear this thud, and I hear the sound of like a vacuum. I'm like, and here's me. Why are you vacuuming up there? You said you were coming down to make me breakfast. No response. I walk up to the top of the stairs and find my husband coding on our bedroom floor. I literally had my life flash before my eyes, and I said, oh my gosh, I need to snap out of this and act quickly. I put him on his side so he wouldn't aspirate, ran to get the phone, called 911. They said, do you know CPR? I said, yes, I do. And they said, well, get going. So for over 10 minutes, I'm doing CPR. The paramedics come. I did not know what to expect because they're telling me no pulse, but anyway, he makes a miraculous recovery after being in cardiac ICU for 10 days. The doctors are telling me I saved his life, and then he went to rehab, and to make a long story short, he was home by Thanksgiving that year. Now this is the first week of AEP. Hello. I'm just putting this into perspective. So he comes home, he's home on disability, and that is when I had the conversation with him. I really need to step away from the financial firm and go out on my own. Because after the first year, my salary was more than what I was making. By the second year, I'm like, oh, really? By the third year, I'm like, Houston, we have a problem. So I said, I really need to go out on my own, and he said, you have to could we just give it a year? So I'm out of work. My husband was the breadwinner. He's like, let's just give it a year and see where we're at that point when I get back to work. Fine. Well then, in January, my boss said we were merging with another financial firm, which means new name, new tax ID number. They had a Medicare side to their other business. So I'm listening to the other boss, and he's like, okay, we need for everyone to get, reappointed under the new company. And I'm looking at him, and I was like, so in other words, you want us to be LOAs? Well, what's that mean? Licensed only agent? Well, yeah. I said, I just nod and smile, and under my breath, I'm going, bless your heart. So I went home, and I said to my husband, now is the time I have to go, because my boss is the one who made the mistake of not wanting to get appointed. So in April, I decided to take my book and I left. And at that point, it was 300 clients. Keep that in mind. And so when I told my boss I was leaving, for over an hour, I had to hear him tell me how I would not be successful. I was like, hold my beer. So with that being said, on the morning of May 4th, I was leaving for my BNI meeting, and he seemed fine. He was in bed as normal. He said, okay, you leave, I'm gonna get up and go to work and be home later. I was like, love you, and I go off to my BNI meeting. About an hour and a half later, I'm getting a text from his job. Your husband's not here, is everything okay? I was like, what do you mean he's not here? I tried to call, no answer. Now, in my gut, I knew what happened. I rush home, I call the police on the way home because I've watched too many Lifetime movies. I'm not being accused of anything, so meet me at my house. So they met me at the house. I opened the garage door, the car's there, opened the door, the alarm's still on. And I said, I cannot go upstairs. Our bedroom is to the top of the stairs to the left. And they found him on the floor. And my heart is forever broken. He's my best friend. And during his time of being on disability, he had made the agreement that he would retire and work alongside me. So, yeah. So here we are. And he was the breadwinner. And here I am giving up my $40,000 stable paycheck. And I'm like, if this is meant to be, it's up to me. And it's either I'm going to find a way or find an excuse, because my mission is to keep my house. Because I will be devastated if I ever have to lose my house because I can't afford it. So what I did was I basically 10x'd now everything that I did before. And I still do a lot of retail events. I will never stop doing the things that got me to where I am. I need to lead from the front and not the back. That's just how I've always led my life. And so I still do a lot of retail events. I do the CVS's, I do the Walgreens, I do farmers markets, I do car shows. And one thing I don't do so much anymore is carrier-specific Medicare 101s. I just want to keep them branded to myself and have them educational versus me having to dot the I's and cross the T's, and I got no time for that. But anyway, I'm now going to share my systems with all of you on how I got to where I got in a very short period of time, because I left with my 300 clients. My boss asked me, well, how many clients of these came from us? I said 35. Do you want them? And he wanted them, but none of them chose to leave me. So I do a lot of retail events, and one thing I have is a tote, a 31 bag, for those of you who followed the company 31 in the direct sales industry. And I have a tote ready to go at all times for any type of retail event. I have my permission to call cards, business cards, tchotchkes, you name it, it's all in the bag. It's a literally grab and go situation. Okay, so you're not having to rethink the process all the time. Does that make sense? Good. All right, next. My upline at the very early stages of my career had given me age leads because I am not afraid to talk to a stranger. So she gave me the leads, and I had a system for this. I would call the lead, identify myself. Hi, I am your local insurance broker. I received your reply card asking for more information. How can I be of service to you? They never answered the phone, right? I am going to mail you a letter with my business cards. And if your face and picture are not on your business cards, please put your picture on your cards. People want to know who they are doing business with. So I mailed them 2 cards and a letter with a copy of the reply card on the letter, so they knew I was legitimate. I had a huge response to that. So that is how I work those age leads. For the record, I personally have never bought a lead. I buy addresses, and I'll get into that in just a moment. But that is how I work the age leads. There's nothing wrong with that. It worked. All right. Now I 10x'd even more. I joined all sorts of chambers of commerce. I joined networking groups. I joined my local Rotary. I became a member of SHRM, which is an organization for human resource management. I also became a member of the Northeast Residential Coordinators Association because they run all the housing authorities. And so, and I'm also looking for speaking opportunities to these types of organizations as well. So for those of you who are new in the room, please do not compare your start to someone else's middle or finish. You do not have to spend a lot of money to get your business off the ground. You need to be willing to get out there and talk to people. Okay, they want to be loved on. Go talk to people. Next, I do a lot of fun events. And I don't know about you, yes, I love my Medicare 101s, but your seniors are really tired of hearing about Medicare. I'm tired of talking about it. I'm just tired. So what I've done is I've partnered with community people. I now take my show on the road to senior centers, and I bring a police officer with me, and he's going to talk about scams. I bring a banker with me who's going to teach about bank fraud. I bring a yoga instructor with me who's going to teach them some chair yoga. Utilize the people around you. I even bring a community nurse.
Silver speakers will do that. They're outside.
Yes, they are. So the one thing I've done, and this is some funny crap, and I'll talk about this in a second, but I buy addresses, and so I buy the ones I want to be known in my county. So I buy names of people turning 65 8 months out for people in my county. Well, my husband would have been 65 last year. So one night I pull up from work and open the mailbox, and lo and behold, I mailed my husband a postcard. Yeah. It was funny. I was like, ha, ha, honey, that's funny. So anyway, I'm using my husband, because he was supposed to work alongside me. I am now the Medicare mail lady because I have saved every single piece of mail he has received, and I could have gone out to dinner every night of the week with all the dinner invitations he's received. And so I've kept all the mail. I went on Amazon and bought a Medicare mail, or a mail bag with a mail hat and a mail vest, and I go into senior centers and I educate around the mail what's legit, what's not, and by filling out your name on this cute little postcard, what that is going to do for you. And of course, you want to educate Amanda's do not call. Yes? Are we doing that? Show of hands. Thank you. Not enough. Let's go. I also do fun events at the senior centers. I do Get the Scoop. I have partnered with a very popular ice cream shop in my state, and we go and do ice cream sundae bars. So they hear me for 10 to 15 minutes. I hold the ice cream hostage, and they get to make their own ice cream sundae. And so there's lots of different things you can do, so be certain to utilize all of the resources in your community. I also do what's called Java with Jessie. I would go to a local coffee shop every other Thursday, because it's Thirsty Thursday, and whoever came in and asked me questions about Medicare, I'd buy them a cup of coffee. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my show on the road, and every Thursday, I'm picking a different coffee shop. I'm going to pick a local partner in the community, and Java with Jessie will be an interview at some coffee shop with a community person, and this way it'll be on Facebook Live, and it's just going to be another way for me to get out there. All of you can do that, right? We talk to people in high school, so don't tell me you can't. All right. Here's just some more of my fun events. There's the ice cream event you see back there, the crew, my Java with Jessie. That was my table set up. Yes, I do have new posters that are compliant without the Medicare card. All right. I also do, I go to local baseball teams and set up a booth. You have to go where your target market is, and they love car shows. If you are not doing booths at car shows, you're totally missing the point. That's where they're all hanging out. So please go to car shows. I also do lunch and learns at doctor's offices. I do lunch and learns for my local chambers of commerce. In fact, one of them was called Nacho Average Conversation. It was held on Cinco de Mayo. Or you can call it Let's Taco About Medicare. Let's taco about prescription drug plans. Not the plan itself, but what's happening. You could be having a lot of fun. I also like the do not, do, N-U-T, do not stress over the Medicare mess. I bring donuts, do not. Muffins and Medicare. I do cookies and conversation. In the winter, I do cookies, cocoa, and conversation. If you're looking for ideas, I can certainly help, because in every aspect of my life, I have a pun on and play on words. All right. I also do Medicare 101s at chocolate factories. We have a lot of chocolate factories in the state of Connecticut, and so I actually do a Medicare 101 at a chocolate factory. And this is what my booth looks like. I actually, that Aetna booth out there inspired me 4 years ago to be like, I can use those lights and spell out Medicare. Why not? All right. I've also been on the radio. Utilize your local community. I also do library seminars. Free, friends. These are free. You do not have to spend a ton of money on dinner seminars. When you have the budget to do so, do it. You do not have to do those to be successful. I'm giving you tips to walk out of this building this week, no, today, tomorrow. You can go and do all of this stuff and not have it cost you anything but your time. But if you want to move forward in your business, you have to ask yourself, what are you willing to sacrifice? Because the one thing I heard in my direct sales career, oh, well, I can't do this because of, I can't do that because of. You're doing this business because of your family, not instead of your family. If you want to provide them the lifestyle to give them the freedoms that you would like right now my purpose is, because my purpose was to retire my husband, well, now I'm paying for my granddaughter's college or high school education. She's going to a Catholic high school, and she gets to go there now because her degree is paying for it for her, and she does not have to worry about that. My next system, referrals. 85% of my book of business right now, any new business, is from the current clients that are working for me. Honestly, if I didn't have to spend another dime, I probably wouldn't have to, because my clients are, and where's Viola? Viola's my roommate, and yesterday I was returning some calls, and the clients were just, the phone was calling with new referrals, and it's from my current client base. So what I do is when I walk into my client's home, I'm a face-to-face agent, by the way. I don't have a brick and mortar. I go face-to-face and meet people. So I show up with my purple bag. I look like Mary Poppins. I have 3 business cards in my hand. I don't tell them what they're for, but it's a way for me to identify myself. I walk to the door and say, hello, My name is Jessalyn Pito. I help people just like you make sense of the Medicare maze. And they welcome me in their home. They invited me, first of all. And I go through the whole spiel, and at the end, I'll say, you'll notice I gave you 3 cards. One is for you to put in your wallet, so the next time Capital One asks what's in your wallet, you now have an answer. The other 2 are for you to share with people that you know that may need help just like yourself. I also ask for referrals in my email signature line, and I also send them a gift. I use Mailbox Power, and when someone sends me a referral, I send my client a thank you note with some brownies and say, you've earned brownie points with me. Thank you for trusting me with your friends and family. All right, as I mentioned to you before, I do not buy leads, I buy addresses. I use a system called Leads Please. I buy the names and addresses of those turning 65 8 months out. I get the list, I'll upload it in Mailbox Power, and I start dripping on them. The very first postcard is the largest postcard I send. It is purple. You'll notice I wear purple in my presentations, purple intentionally. It's to represent my mother who passed from pancreatic cancer. And so the very first postcard is the largest one, has my photo on it, and then I'll start dripping on them at 6 months, where they get a postcard in the mail celebrating their half-year birthday. Then I'll go 4 months, 3 months, 2 months, and a month. The month of, I actually send them a birthday card. If you don't want to do that many drips, well, then cut it down. But you need to be working, as you heard yesterday. They're doing 10 months and 12 months. I start at 8. I receive a ton of phone calls, and I purposely ask them, what is it about my card that prompted you to call me? Because I know how much mail you're getting. And they all say to me, your picture's on it, and you haven't called and harassed us. All right, retention. Last year, I had a 100% retention rate during AEP. When you show people the love, they will not leave you. And so from the moment I check my clients' apps on Saturdays, Saturday's my admin day. And I do all this by myself, by the way. I only have one person, she's a 1099, who answers my phone. So she answers the phone and schedules my appointments. Everything else I'm doing on my own because I have systems. So I check my apps, I put my app in my CRM, I use Agency Block, and then I start dripping with an Agency Block. They will receive an automatic thank you email, and in that email, it's asking them to give me a Google review. My Google reviews have increased tremendously. And then they'll get another email at the 30-day mark, the 60-day mark, and the 90-day mark. And with an Agency Block, they will also receive an email on their birthday. So you have to love on your people. Within Mailbox Power, all of my clients will receive a Thanksgiving card, and they also receive a Happy New Year's card. I also use Reminder Media. I send a magazine to every single one of my clients every 3 months. And you might say, geez, it's expensive. Well, you know what? When you're coming from a place, if you need tax write-offs, it's okay. And so, yes, it's about $4,000 every 3 months, but I can't tell you how many people have called me and said, we love that magazine, thank you so very much. Reminder Media. I also send out client emails. Like, you have to ask yourself, how many touches are you touching your clients? I also send an email newsletter once a month through my CRM. I am not creative that way, so here's a news flash. Go to ChatGPT. Here's what you're going to prompt it. Create an email newsletter for my Medicare clients with an easy-to-prepare recipe. They all love the recipe and message me how delicious it is. I can't even take credit for it. And it even gives me the photo for the recipe. touch on your clients, everybody, people, I love you all, but you get the point. I can't say it enough. Just please love on your clients. And here we go, reminder media, and I had 100% retention. Now, sure.
Do you just do it in the body of the email, the newsletter, or is it an actual newsletter?
No, I use my CRM agency block to send it out. Yep.
Is it just in the body of the email, or is it like an attachment?
It's in the body of the email. Agency block doesn't let you do attachments. Okay, is that good? Can I move on? Question?
Yeah, right here. Is it once a month is what you send out? Once a month touch point?
Once a month for an email newsletter.
Okay.
And then they get birthday cards from me. They hear from me. Because one of the other things that I do, they get a text from me or a birthday email. They get a birthday card. I call every single client on their birthday. I do it while I'm driving. And when they tell you that you were the only call that they received, think about that. This is where the relationship deepens. They tell me they just had surgery. They tell me their pet passed away. Whatever it is, as soon as I jot it down while I am at the stoplight, and I will go back home in my Mailbox Power account and send them a card for whatever it is they shared with me. Powerful. Before COVID, I wanted to hold a health fair at that financial office that my boss said I wouldn't be successful at. I wanted to hold a health fair with vendors and just have a good old time. Well, that COVID put the kibosh on that. So after COVID, I said, I need to revisit this. I want to have a party. I want to have a party for the senior population because these are a group of individuals who have suffered the greatest loss of family, loss of friends, and loss of connection. This was it was not a sales event. I did not talk Medicare. It was for me to show them the love. I held it last year at a banquet facility that held about 200 people. I had 180. I invited 10 area senior centers and my current clients. I had 22 vendors and 4 educational speakers. The vendors, their only requirement was they had to have enough of a giveaway for every single person in attendance, and they needed to have a door prize or raffle prize. I did not ask for a dime. It cost me $10,000 out of my pocket, which was a tax write-off. However, the joy it brought my heart, because the only thing that has helped me get through my grieving is by me focusing on other people. And I tell my clients all the time, by me helping you is allowing me to heal my heart, and I am forever grateful for that. So I decided I wasn't going to do this again, not knowing what this final rule was doing. And will the final ever be final of the final? I don't know. And regardless of what happens, I'm not changing anything. I love what I do, and I'm not going to let anything stop me. So I decided to do it again. And at the end of last year's event, the vendor said, "Why did you not ask us for money?" I said, "Because that's not what this was about. If you do it again, we will gladly give you money." I put it out there, and yeah, I have some ching to help pay for this. I went to a bigger venue. This year I will have 300 attendees, 34 vendors, 4 speakers, and 2 TV stations just invited me to be on the TV to promote it. It is kind of a little mind-blowing, but it's so much fun. I just love them. So anyway, I think we've all learned during COVID, my word, we all have a word. Don't you love that at the beginning of the year? What's your word? Mine's pivot. As you can see, we've had to pivot in many ways, shapes, and forms. When I started this business, I was known as your Medicare maven. Well, then some grumbling was out there. We couldn't use the word Medicare in our name. All right, so I'll pivot. So now I'm JP Maven, and someone said, that sounds like JP Morgan. Hey, that works for me. I did not want to take the word Maven out because that's how people know they say, you're our Maven. And that's what my clients connect me with. You are our Maven. They know I have their back at all times. So I went to JP Maven Insurance Benefits, and the reason I went with JP Maven is because my husband's initials are the same as mine, and he was going to retire and work alongside me. So he will always be with me in spirit. But then for those of you who follow me on Facebook, this beautiful little bird, the cardinal, has shown up every single day on my deck since my husband passed. So I have now introduced the cardinal into my logo. The lotus is in honor of my mother, and the purple is for pancreatic cancer. I am intentional with my branding, and so please brand yourself because that's what separates you from the rest. So I think you would agree that there is nothing easy about this business. Nobody likes the word no, but if you're not getting enough no's, you're not talking to enough people, because for every 10 no's, you get a yes. And so for me, no has always meant next one, or just smile and nod, say no problem. If anything ever changes, I am here for you. But there's nothing easy about this, but I think you would all agree that it's worth it. And I say this not to impress you, but to impress upon the new people in this room the possibilities. Because if I allowed a $40,000 paycheck to keep me stifled where I was, I'm now proud to say that you can add a zero to that, and that's all my money. So with that being said, I want to thank all of you, and I truly mean this. There are so many women in this room that have supported me for the past 2 years, and it has meant the world to me because it has been a very, very difficult road for me to travel. My husband's my best friend. The weekends are horrible, but I have my little dog. And I just want to thank all of you for blessing me and having you be a part of my life, so thank you.